My 2-year green card is going to be up in March, so I know I have to file for this year, December.
Right.
My question is, I looked it up online where if you're married to a U.S. citizen for 3 years, which my husband is, when I'm filing for the 10 year, can I file my citizenship at the same time?
No, it's not 3 years of marriage. It's 3 years of having a green card. So when you file to remove the conditions, you're at about a year and 9 months and change. 1 year later, if immigration has not made a decision on your I-751 and it's still pending, and you're now at 2 years, 9 months and change, then you can file for your naturalization, presuming that you're still in a bona fide marriage with your spouse.
Okay, so it's not just being married for 3 years.
No, it's being
card
married to a U.S. citizen and having a green card for 3 years.
Okay, so that means I just have to file the 10 year for the 10 year,
and then 10 year, and then 1 year later, if we still have no decision, which most likely will be the case, then you file your citizenship, and you have 2 cases pending at the same time: your I-751 to remove the conditions, your citizenship, and then you go on the interview for your citizenship, and they'll adjudicate both at the same time.
I'm calling on behalf of my niece. She had an interview for her citizenship,
right?
And then she got her swearing date. And while she was in there waiting to be sworn in, they called her out. Unforeseen circumstances.
What was the issue?
They can't swear her in today.
What was the issue?
She haven't heard anything since.
I understand.
You know?
I understand. So I'm saying this is the problem, okay? The problem is this, in a nutshell. She passes her interview. She goes to swear in. She's about to walk into the room to say, I take an allegiance to the United States of America to become a U.S. citizen. They pull her off the line. They said, we're not going to swear you in to be a U.S. citizen. The only reason they would do that is because something came up on a security check for her. Now, it could be a false positive or a real positive, meaning it could be that she really did something wrong in the past and it was finally discovered minutes before she was about to swear in to be a U.S. citizen. Or they are mistaking her to somebody else with a similar name or similar situation or whatever it may be, and they need to investigate it more. But the only reason they take you off the line, if everybody else in that room walked in to swear in and she's the only one who didn't, that's the reason. I mean, if you have a room full of 30, 40 people and they tell everybody the swearing in ceremony is off, well, maybe it's because the officer has the flu and didn't show up to work. But if she was the only one...
She said they called out 2 people.
Right, okay.
She and another person.
Okay, and if everybody else went in, then it's a security issue for her. And what she should do is have a private one-on-one consultation with me and let's figure it out.
My girlfriend lives in Kenya and we are getting married soon. If we marry in Kenya, what's the process for her to become a citizen?
Well, she first has to get a green card. You got to file an I-130 visa petition for her, get that approved, go through the National Visa Center, affidavits of support, fee bills, police records. If you get through the National Visa Center, the case gets transferred to the U.S. Embassy in Kenya where you have to prove it's a bona fide marriage. She gets an immigrant visa to come to the United States as a green card holder. And then 3 years later, provided you are still in a bona fide marriage, she can then at that point file for her citizenship.
I have a friend who can't read. Can she use a lawyer and get her citizenship?
Only if she's over 55 and had a green card for 15 years. Or we can bring her to a doctor if she can't read because she's some sort of mental deficiency, and we can get a doctor to say there's a medical condition why she can't read. But I cannot teach her to read. So it's either because she is an older person who's been a long-term resident or she has a mental deficiency. But what a lawyer can't do is teach somebody to read.
So my wife was convicted. She's a green card holder. She was convicted of a misdemeanor called unlawful imprisonment, and about 10 years ago. Does she have a shot at citizenship?
When did she get her green card?
2002.
And she was convicted in 2000, what? 12?
In 2010.
2010. So green card, yes. 2002. Misdemeanor in New York, unlawful imprisonment 2010, otherwise clean record.
Yes.
All right.
And on college background.
Okay, and I assume she didn't go to jail for that misdemeanor?
No.
Okay, so that misdemeanor, that one offense, is a crime of moral turpitude. The law says if you're convicted of a crime of moral turpitude 5 years after receipt of your green card, that does not make you deportable. So she can renew her green card. Since she has 5 years good moral character, this happened more than 5 years ago, she could also become a citizen.
My brother got married. Everything was fine. After 2 years, he got condition. They sent the paper in March to remove the condition. Everything was fine. They didn't even call them for interview. He got approved. He got the 10 years green card. And for some reason, they went to Las Vegas, whatever my brother did. She got upset. They divorced a couple months later. So what happened next, my brother went to do citizenship, and they told him, one lawyer told him not to do it because it's misrepresentation, and second tell him, you know what, not in these days, maybe one day.
I understand that. So now the divorce...
Can he become citizen or no?
Maybe, but certainly they're going to, if they look at the divorce, and they will, the divorce, which is a document that was signed under penalty of perjury, says they were not living together, and he could have a problem. He absolutely could have a problem.
My interview is coming up, and I made a mistake when I was filing the N-400. I said I have no arrest, but I do have a DWI. Will I get my citizenship?
You better fix it at the time of the interview, and I don't know whether or not you'll get your citizenship. I would have to review your criminal records and let you know.
What is the wait period to get a U.S. citizenship if I'm currently in Connecticut?
Probably 8, 9, 10, 11 months. Citizenship's taking a little less than a year, most around the country.
My father was a U.S. citizen when I was a child, but he didn't file for me. He died 8 years ago. I came for the funeral. Can I apply through him for adjustment of status?
If your father was a citizen when you were born and resided in the United States for 5 years prior to your birth, you're an automatic U.S. citizen. Adjusting your status, you're getting a U.S. passport. If your father became a citizen after you were born and you've never had any status here, that doesn't help you one bit. He's passed away, unfortunately.
I have an interview coming up for citizenship and green card.
So you have an I-751, and you also then put in for the citizenship to remove the conditions and your citizenship.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes, I have both interviews at the same day.
Okay.
I'm kind of nervous because I don't know what it's going to, what they're going to ask for.
Well, they're going to ask for proof that you and your spouse are in a bona fide marriage. That's what they're going to ask.
Okay.
All right, so all the evidence that you would need to prove that you and your spouse live together. So you've watched my show before, I assume. This is not your first day you've ever watched the show, right? Okay, so you've heard me say what a bona fide marriage is. I'll repeat it to you. You bring documents to prove you live together. You bring documents to prove you have a financial relationship. You bring both. Live together,
I have all that.
So
we have two kids together.
you bring it all in, okay? So they're going to conduct both the I-751 and citizenship at the same time. So the first thing they're going to want to do is prove you live together in a bona fide marriage, because you're doing your citizenship based on 3 years of having a conditional green card. And you also have to remove the conditions. So that evidence of the bona fide marriage is going to be used for the I-751. They got to do that first, interview you on that. Okay, they're now satisfied you're in a bona fide marriage. Now you're approved for the I-751. Let's get to the citizenship. Then they're going to start asking you all the questions about citizenship. They're going to go through the entire application. All the questions you answered yes and no, they're going to go through it again with you. They're going to make sure that you haven't been outside the United States for more than 6 months at a time, that you've been physically living here for 18 out of the last 36 months. They're going to want to know, give you the test on U.S. government and history. They're going to want to know that you can read and write, that you're going to take an oath of allegiance to the United States of America. So they're going to conduct 2 interviews at the same exact time. Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.